Hi there, SKIDDY and STADE, CEO of OneWire. Welcome to Open Door. Today we're going to do something completely different. We're actually going to interview Mehl, who's the CEO of Mehl Executive Coaching. She's helped folks out from the entrepreneurial phase all the way up to the C-level suite. You're going to learn a lot. Let's go see what she's up to. I'm here today with Mehl, who's the CEO of Mehl Coaching, or Executive Coaching. And can't thank you enough for stopping by today. Really, really appreciate it. Tell me, how did you get into the coaching business?
Yeah, so I had started coaching after being in recruitment and placement as a headhunter for over 9.5 years. And I was in the business of search, so I was helping people to transition into new jobs. And I love that work. What I found, though, is that sitting with individuals, even if I didn't have an opening for them, was something that appealed to me even more so than just only bringing those up to my space when I could, close a deal. Sure. So I started looking at that and I thought, the counseling side, the giving people advice, that was the sort of sweet spot that really spoke to me personally. And I thought, I think I'm going to just look at doing this more, the actual coaching piece. So that was around 2005. And I decided to get a certificate and then hang a shingle and start coaching from there.
Got you. Well, I know you've got a great reputation. What do you think it really takes to be good in your space?
Oh, I think listening skills, huge. I mean, a lot of what you're doing as a coach is trying to absorb someone's situation and then help them to set goals and then be their sparring partner, help them to move an inch forward. And the only way you're going to be able to attune to what their needs are is if you're fully attentively paying it, listening to everything they're saying. So I think about listening skills a lot.
Got ya. And what industries do you guys cover?
My talent pool is a mixture of the entrepreneurial space as well as the traditional executive who's in banking and other industries.
What are the qualities that make somebody stand out? Describe the personality traits.
First thing I think about is energy. And we used to talk about this in recruiting a lot, when we would meet two different candidates and before we'd send them on a job, we would say, who had both elbows on the table? Who was leaning into this opportunity a bit more than the other person? So positive energy, that means that when they show up, they're not, whining about an issue or trying to blame someone or just telling me they haven't slept or eaten in days, I think goes a long way. So positive energy is one. I'd say the other thing that I find is inspiring is when I find someone who's willing to do the work on themselves, meaning, they're self-aware enough to say, I am going to make mistakes, I don't know everything, I'm willing to admit that in front of my team, and I'm willing to tell them that I'm working with a coach. I think about vulnerability a lot as a really powerful trait in trying to lead a company, lead a team.
There are a lot of kids that go into interviews that are nervous about going in and meeting with folks. What sort of advice would you give somebody?
I often say to folks, when you get to the meeting, if you feel nervous and you're sweating and you race and you're feeling like you're panting, admit it. Yeah. Say it. Drop it into the room. Just say, my nerves are getting the best of me right now, and I just want to admit that. Because the other person's human, and I think they'll relate to you more if you share it than if you're all strung out. So I'd say just admit, I'm really nervous, and I just want to say that because this is a really important meeting to me, and I want to do my best. Period. That's it. You don't have to make a big grandstand about it. The person sitting across from you, even if it's the head of the company, is probably very much like you in nature. So in being real, you're going to bring out the sort of connection that you need to make, which has to be more natural than trying to be like them.
In terms of advice and coaching and counseling that you give to women, how's that different than men?
I would say one thing that comes up a lot is confidence, a lack of. And so what I work with my female clients, when they admit to, I'm not feeling confident in the role or I'm not feeling confident enough to ask for this promotion, where can we derive the confidence even in the absence of it showing up all the time? So that's actually a journey that we go on together. The other advice I often give is often around negotiation. I think there's statistics around the fact that 9 times out of 10 you'll find that men tend to negotiate straight away on a first-time offer or on some type of increase they're going to get in their salary, whereas women wait to prove that they can do the job. So it's not a natural instinct to know how to get into that type of a conversation with a a female client because they think it's adversarial and they think it's going to cause conflict. So we have to work on the negotiation skills. And I guess the other thing I'd say is risk-taking. I don't think innately, and I wouldn't say this across the board, but the CEOs of startups that I work with, it's heavier weighted in the male gender than it is the female. And I don't know that we were bred to take wild risks as we were going through school. So if there's one thing I speak to my female clients about is, taking the risk is important often in whatever aspect of what they're dreaming out they want to do. And as part of that, there's going to be mistakes that are going to be made. And don't fear them, because that you need the mistakes are part and parcel of like taking the leap of faith.
You're going back to school and you're lecturing the class of 2014. What sort of advice would you give them?
If you have an idea and it seems alternative and it seems wacky, especially if your parents think it's dangerous for you to build something, I say give it a shot anyway. I think it's also okay to follow what your preferences are, which was not something I did. I took a path, I was raised with a blue-collar family, so everything was about earning money. And I got an accounting degree. I did all the responsible things because I felt like this is the right thing to do with all the money my family invested in education. And what happened was I came up against a lot of dead ends. I was great in those jobs, but it felt soulless to me. And what I've come to learn as a coach and what I work with a lot of people on now is, don't discount the obvious. If there's something that, you gravitate towards or something you've always loved to do, called it a hobby, maybe there's something in there that actually could be considered work if you put enough of the time in. Another piece of advice I give is be professional. Be professional all the time. And what I mean by that is, every single paper that you write that your name is attached to, every tweet you put out in the world, every piece you put on your Facebook blog, it's got your name on it. And don't forget that people will find it, or later on it could come back to haunt you. So from your dress to your speech to your communication is be an adult.
Again, I'm here with Ann Mehl, who is the CEO of Ann Mehl Executive Coaching. Ann, cannot thank you enough for having me in today. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thrilled to be here.